All had a chance to look at the agenda. Any additions, corrections, or conflicts? If not, stand approved as printed. Move on to the reading of the minutes.
January 2nd, 2026, the Board of Supervisors conducted the required 2025 year-end cash count at 8 a.m. Members present were Gene Hayden, Ty Rosberg, Kyle Schultz, Craig Dozark, and Dave Mulbauer. The meeting was called to order at 8:46 by Terry Martins, County Auditor. Board members present were Gene Hayden, Ty Rosberg, Kyle Schultz, Craig Dozark, and Dave Mulbauer. Motion was made by Hayden, seconded by Mulbauer, to nominate Craig Dozark as chair and Kyle Schultz as vice chair for 2026. Nominations ceased. Motion carried unanimously. Dozark took over as chair of the meeting. Minutes from the previous meeting were read and approved. The board approved the change of status for Amy Sigabar, office administrator, sheriff's office. Motion was made by Hayden, seconded by Schultz, to approve the following resolution, 2026-1, appointing official newspapers of Crawford County for 2026. Whereas the Manila Times, the Observer, the Denison Bulletin Review, and the Denison Free Press have filed applications to be appointed official newspapers of Crawford County. Law requires 3 official newspapers be appointed in the county. Therefore be it, and it hereby resolved that the Observer, the Manila Times, and the Denison Free Press be designated as official newspapers of Crawford County for the year 2026. Voting aye, Schultz, Mulbauer, Dozark, Hayden, and Rosberg. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Mulbauer, to approve the following resolution, 2026-2. What's it called? It's the resolution allowing the auditor to pay certain claims prior to audit by the Board of Supervisors. Those claims being salaries and payroll. If the compensation has been fixed and approved by the board, the salary or payroll shall be certified by the officer or supervisor under whose direction or supervision the compensation is earned. Withholding taxes, FOAB, Medicare, IPERS, union dues, credit union garnishments, tax deferred compensation, direct deposits, insurance, life, health, dental, cancer, and unemployment. Voting aye, Schultz, Mulbauer, Dozark, Hayden, and Rosberg. Motion passed unanimously. Motion was made by Rosberg, seconded by Hayden, to approve the following resolution, 2026-3. Resolutions naming depositories. Voting aye, Schultz, Mulbauer, Dozark, Hayden, and Rosberg. Motion passed unanimously. Motion was made by Rosberg, seconded by Schultz, to designate Craig Dozark chair as a signatory for Region 12 Council of Governments for the ensuing year. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Rosberg, seconded by Hayden, to approve the following resolution, 2026-4, resolution regarding the necessity for economic efforts and approving promotion of such efforts. Voting aye, Schultz, Mulbauer, Dozark, Hayden, and Rosberg. Motion passed unanimously. Motion was made by Mulbauer, seconded by Hayden, to approve the following resolution, 2026-5. Resolution authorizing county engineer to execute certificates for farm to market projects for Crawford County. Voting aye, Schultz, Mulbauer, Dozark, Hayden, and Rosberg. Motion passed unanimously. Motion was made by Rosberg, seconded by Hayden, to approve the following resolution, 2026-6, construction evaluation resolution. And this is in regards to the master matrix. Voting aye, Schultz, Mulbauer, Dozark, Hayden, and Rosberg. Motion passed unanimously. Motion was made by Hayden, seconded by Mulbauer, to approve the following board committee appointments for 2026. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Hayden, seconded by Schultz, to approve the holidays for 2026. Motion passed unanimously. A motion, skip page, sorry. Motion was made by Mulbauer, seconded by Rosberg, to approve the board meeting dates for 2026. Motion passed unanimously. Motion was made by Rosberg, seconded by Schultz to appoint the following to commission to assess damages for 2026. Motion passed unanimously. Motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Mulbauer to reappoint Dustin Miller as medical examiner investigator for a term ending December 31, 2027. Motion passed unanimously. The motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Hayden to reappoint Sarah Carlson and Linda Mulbauer to the Region 12 COG Policy Council for a one-year term ending December 31, 2026. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Hayden to appoint Kurt Miller to the Board of Adjustments for a 5-year term ending December 31, 2030. Motion passed unanimously. The board had a discussion about the zoning administrator and zoning commission. No action was taken. A motion was made by Rosberg, seconded by Mulbauer to approve the Crawford County investment policy. Motion passed unanimously. Motion was made by Hayden, seconded by Rosberg to approve the LEC operating expense share with the city of Denison, Addendum A. Motion passed unanimously. Motion duly seconded, the board adjourned at 11:22 a.m. Agendas for the next meeting are posted and available at the courthouse on Friday, 4:30 p.m. preceding the next meeting.
So way out to me.
Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome.
Have a motion to approve minutes is read.
I'm glad you don't have to do that every week, huh?
Yeah, no kidding.
Motion in a second. Motion by Dave, second by Kyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Move on to supervisor reports. Kyle.
Well, I haven't had much since
I was
Friday.
gonna say that we probably don't have
Short
much.
turnaround,
Yeah,
Just seems like we just met.
doesn't feel like a Tuesday.
short turnaround, but I know there was a Woodbury County supervisor that had a short video on it was Facebook Messenger or whatever, talking about some 911 funds that the state are reclaiming from our local 911 funds. So I talked to Dwayne about it this morning. Just kind of bring everybody up to speed in case you get questions about it. The state collects 100% of the 911 funds that are from phone usage. That's how the funds are generated. Phone surcharge. They give us 60% back to the state, keep 40%. So apparently now the state communication system is underfunded or having problems, so they're trying to shore that up, and they don't have enough money for that, so now they're recalling some of that 911 money, and each county has to kick back money to help pay for that. And the sad thing is that we elected to build our own system because this board knew that the state system would not be ample enough, and it's proven itself in the time that it took us to build our system. They've already fallen short on their half. So, and now they're using our funds to rebuild their system. So,
Which now won't be here to support ours, so now we have apparently another unfunded mandate.
Why it sure makes it look that much better that we did our own.
But you know, they keep talking about how property taxes are raising. I mean, we have to keep doing this to offset when they claw back money or take other monies or add things to our bill by reducing property taxes on certain groups. And the rest have to pay
Doesn't the
for it.
911 board have its own budget?
correct.
So
Just generated off phone surcharge.
911. So do they have the funds in there to send back to the state? So I mean, so
I
it's
don't-
not gonna cost the
No, it
taxpayer.
won't cost us.
It don't cost us any, but it's just money that our local 911 won't have to spend on local projects.
You know, that's how a lot of the internal communications, like in the comm center, the equipment.
The
And like-
$50,000 I just approved to help pay for the final part of their tower project
You know,
this
they
morning that
have
we had set aside for it, so.
the
Basically, it's a shift away
communication
from
here
local
inside the
control
tower
and
shelter.
back to the state.
They help pay for that. So all them things are, so that's that much less money from that. You know what, you hear me say it ad nauseum, additional revenue streams. That's how we're gonna have to be able to offset property taxes. But when we have something solid like this, that's a, you know, a fair asking, you know, if it's phone people, I mean, they call 911, I mean, like, all the little, like if you call 911 on your phone, I mean, you could be not paying your bill, but you can call 911, I mean, that system's available always to anybody that's out there.
Yep.
But, you know, that's, just, once again, there's somebody pulling back something off of us, you know, I mean, and you plan on them revenues. You know,
Right.
we all have a 5-year plan of sorts, at least a 1 to 2 to 3 maybe.
Part of it is, it's kind of an open-ended deal with them. They don't, there's no, we need $100,000. It'd be like us saying to the taxpayers, here's your September tax bill. We'll let you know what your March one's gonna be come March 1st. Pay accordingly. That's kind of what the state's doing to us with the 911. So we don't know how many toys, gadgets we need yet. So we'll bill you each quarter and let you know what the 911 fund.
So that's not even a steady number, like a percentage. It's whatever we need, we're gonna take claw back.
Pretty much. It's kind of an open-ended ticket, so.
I mean, there's been talk of raising that amount, because it's been the same ever since they started it.
Yeah. I don't,
Because you pay per line, right?
right.
$1 per line or something like that per month.
I know the landline, well, that's the other part, everybody's landline has
They're not
been
using
disconnected, so they're not necessarily, and I don't think cell phones were generating the same feed, but I think they need to, they're working on adjusting that, because landlines have dropped off immensely,
I would imagine.
so they need to
And
adjust.
if they
cell
jack it up
phones
too much, you know how many people from a Council Bluffs or Dubuque go across the river to get the phone somewhere else that don't have as high a tax on that, which maybe Illinois is probably higher, but I don't know about France.
I think though that the billing address would be the address of record for the
Yeah.
cell phone company.
Right.
If, to be required to.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So I don't know how all that works. You know, I've got friends that have a area code on their phone from when they lived in like California, you know. I don't know how that all works. It's just the same phone number from when they lived out there, so.
Because that's what all their friends have. I mean, we would do the same, like we try to.
So
anyway.
but anyway,
That's a good point.
it's just another one of those deals, like you said, the state needs money, so they just take it from the locals to fund their projects. And leave the locals with less money to fund their projects. Very disheartening.
So did they say how much that was gonna cost the Crawford County 911 board?
Dwayne thought maybe up to 15%, so that's his guesstimate.
Yes, because if it ain't consistent, how do you even guess?
So if they gave us 60% to operate on, and now we're gonna be down to 45% operating.
Funny how that changed us. It's the same thing like juvenile detention, Kyle. I mean, that's on our property taxes now. I mean, or if our kids go when they go, I mean, that's an increase on our property tax because the state doesn't pay as much as they, so they still pay some, but not as much.
Right.
And that was the original commitment that they don't meet.
Which in a theory, they pushed more of it on by closing a lot of the state schools where some of these kids were placed at.
Yeah. Now we
So
got
it
kids
just backed
there
up the state.
that would have been in them schools. Hopefully getting.
Some of them schools I think needed closed or needed there was a lot of bad going on, so they just closed them instead of fixing the problem. Anyhow,
No organization is any better than its leadership.
it's just another part of the puzzle that has to frustrate a lot of local board of supervisors tables.
Obviously, what's his name?
Mark Williams?
No. It don't matter, but yeah, I'm gonna ask. I got a guy that went with us to Washington. That's a cattleman up there around Mobile area. Kind of wondering if he was related to him because they got the same last name. Gosh.
Anyhow,
Anyway, good people.
it's just another kind of unfunded mandate that the state And I know he talked to Steve Holt about it, and he was fired up about it, but it's one of those
I
deals.
think he'll probably look into it a little bit, see what's going on, but I don't, I don't think that he, really wanted to comment too deep, because he had questions too, So, we'll look into it for sure, what's going on. I mean, I always ask him to look into it, give us some good answers on why it's happening, It's just another thing where you feel like nobody even consulted us, you just took it. What are we doing? How come we're paying the bill for the rest of the state? It wasn't our inefficiencies that created your problem. We're taking care of ourselves.
We're getting pretty good at paying the bill for other people's
Or even
inefficiencies.
just to have the conversation to all the counties, what are you using those 911 funds for? Are you tied into something?
Yeah, we give them a report every year what the funds go to.
You know, why didn't those questions get asked that, hey, maybe they are needing it and are actually using it, not sitting on extra cash that we're just gonna swipe back?
Yeah, I mean, if we're using it for valid communication purposes, we certainly are. We've probably got a top tier system in the entire state, I would say. But that was because we seen the importance of it. I mean, we don't want EMS to be sitting inside a house and can't talk directly to the hospital and saving a life. Or we don't want a deputy out there at a domestic violence scene by themselves and inside a house, and all of a sudden they get attacked from behind and can't radio out for help. I mean, come on, do these things happen commonly? No, but you don't plan for the best, you plan for the worst.
For the, thinking back, Craig, the state system was planning on one tower in the county.
Yeah.
So it's like having one cell phone tower in Crawford County. That was the state system for Crawford County.
And they gave us the maps to show all the dead zones and spots that would work, and it didn't, I don't remember the
I
percentage,
know
but
it
it
wasn't
did
gonna
not.
cover hardly anything. Then we would have had to replace every single radio in the county.
On top of it,
Because it wasn't, all the county fire departments and police department radios, none of them would have worked with the state's radio system. So,
It wasn't that it would be able, them radios would even be able to get out better, they just wouldn't work with the system.
right.
So,
So did the state ever put in a tower in Crawford County? Pay for a tower?
This one up here where the old state patrol radio tower was.
go up by their old office.
Going north out of Denison. That's the one they just
On 50.
modified.
On 59?
Yeah, they just modified that one to fit their needs.
That one
For
is
highway
still,
patrol.
is that one still working? Still in use in coordination with all the ones that we put up?
No, it's not hooked to our system at all because of UHF versus EHS. I think we have one channel down in our comm center that we can patch through to the state radio system.
But remember too,
The snowplows would take priority over.
yes, they took
our-
priority,
Yeah, it was.
Over emergency.
so even if we
Quite
signed up
possible.
to their deal, they could come in and take priority anytime, and we'd be sitting with no service. And I remember the cost was, they said, well, this will be your cost for, I don't remember how many years, but then we don't know after that.
And if that one tower got took down, we have no communication service in the county.
So are we paying for that one tower that's there? Do
No,
we pay them
no.
anything?
Well, maybe we are now.
No way we are, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no kidding.
Well, I think we made the right choice to put our own system in.
I truly do believe that. Conservation board meeting tomorrow night, and I just wanna kind of, Cindy, I think we all received your email Friday, but I don't know if I'm the only one, or I know Ty, I think he said, we tried to respond back to your email, but we keep getting rejected. I don't know if you have some setting on your side or,
Mine got rejected too.
so.
You did too? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Just wanted to let you know that.
Good point that I felt like I talked, about.
Well, good to know. Thank you. I did get Ty and Craig's.
You didn't get mine?
Oh,
'Cause it
Yeah.
said it didn't send it.
right. Mine said it didn't send it too.
Interesting. I'm not sure what is causing that, but I'll look into it. Thanks for letting me know.
You bet.
That's all.
When I get a good email,
Thanks,
I like to reply. You know.
Okay, yesterday I did stop in the courthouse for Joni's retirement party, when you were there. Very nice sending away.
For some reason, I was thinking that was
downtown
Wednesday. I blamed last night. Oh shoot, that was today.
I had it on my calendar and actually Colin called me about a few things and he said, hey, you're coming up, aren't you? So, yeah.
I didn't get
Thanks
home
for
till
reminding.
7:30, so.
But very nice. She's very appreciative of her years here and just enjoyed her time.
When did she leave though?
Yesterday was her last day.
So she's gone.
She's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Liz has taken her spot.
Yep.
She could hire there. So that was very nice. This week, I guess I do have Region 12 Thursday ISAC IT meeting this week, also state ECI, which will be interesting. Michelle did reach out to me. She said you have the supervisor's budget. If you want help with that at all.
I got it. Skip it. I kind of forgot about it on Friday. I was reminded, and first weekend came and it slipped my mind. And then I remembered that it was due the 5th, due yesterday. So it'll be there today.
Okay. Really, ours don't change a whole lot outside of insurance. From that. And then you guys saw Amy's email about 175th anniversary.
She'd like some guidance.
Yes, so.
She's running out of time.
Now, or, I mean,
Yeah.
she's proposing the 15th, I think, in her email to come in and have a little celebration.
You can put a time on that, right? I'm gonna talk to Amy today after our meeting, because I had some ideas, also. I didn't know we were gonna do something special on the 15th. I thought maybe we'd do it at our meeting next Tuesday on the 13th. But if having something special on that exact day, that's fine with me. I'll just have the people, I was gonna have, I talked to my pastor about doing an invocation. And so I was gonna have him come next Tuesday, after we did the Pledge of Allegiance, to do something recognizing our 175th birthday. But if we're gonna have a special celebration, I'll make sure Pastor Chad can be there on Thursday. So I'll talk to Amy about that. Like I said, I tried to find a resolution or something that the Board of Supervisors might have passed at their 100th. I figured they probably did something for the 100th. But reading through all the supervisor minutes in 1951 and reading through all the newspaper in 1951, I could not find anything. And so I just sent a note to Colin and asked him, I said, hey, could you or Martha come up with a resolution? I don't know what it would say. I mean, I told Colin today I was gonna do some Googling or looking to see what maybe other Board of Supervisors have passed recognizing such events. Maybe AI can come up with something.
Yeah.
That's
Too busy fighting the commies back in 1951, probably over in Korea. So
What's that?
they're too busy fighting the communists in Korea in 1951.
They were. I mean, when you read through the papers, all it was the people, right, who being sent somewhere.
Yep.
That were local.
So you'll talk with Amy, get something scheduled.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll talk to Amy today. I'm gonna.
Email us the time and.
And I would wonder if you want to send out an invite to previous Board of Supervisors or previous county
When are we doing
employees.
something?
Next Thursday,
That's the actual.
the actual date
I won't
was
be there.
January 15th.
Oh, the rest of my month is a mess.
Yeah, that might be a good idea to reach out
Actually,
to
I made sure that the week after that,
previous
of the
supervisors.
19th,
So we have Steve and
pretty
Jerry.
much county only.
Steve. Oh, God, Steve.
Randy,
Randy,
Coleman,
Dean Hargens.
Mark Sigebart.
Mark.
Eric. Yeah, I don't know if he'd be able to come.
not that many.
No, it's really not. Oh, Jerry. Jerry Bullock.
Oh, yeah, Jerry Bowler.
Jerry Bull.
He help contact them, let me know.
So I think
Give us.
I got Jerry's and Mark's. I don't know if I got, well, I can certainly find all this.
I got Dean Harder's, so.
You do?
Yep.
I don't have his.
Randy was really good about when I first got elected. He took me up to BCI because I was one of the boards that took over. Took time to just walk me through things and kind of catch me up to speed. They're the same thing too with different committees.
Ty, you have anything?
You know, since our last meeting, I haven't done a whole lot other than work. No, nothing really. I just, yeah, I don't. Unless you need me to gobble up 15 minutes. So, but
You could do that.
topic, we can get going. I don't have anything that consequence. I should actually look through some of the stuff that Cindy brought up. I would like to. She had a great email to us.
It was.
I think.
Yeah.
Very good
I
email.
mean, it had some good points, but a lot of stuff that's actually we have been working on, but we don't necessarily, not everything's always visible. It don't always happen at this meeting, you know, like with our different committee assignments, we're working on things. You know, does anybody else have that frustration with our email system? Or if, like, let's just say Kyle sent us all an email, but then when you reply, your name will be on the top, so you can't find Kyle's email. Or is it just mine that's doing it? So then I can't find your email per se, you know what I mean? That's a little frustrating. Yeah, see, like the wellness event that Amy sent us, now Craig's name's not, so you must have replied to her.
Mhm.
Where is that?
Yeah, I have it here if you want to just use it.
Should be able to search to it.
Look off
shouldn't
mine. Maybe you can't read this.
A lot of times I do that, Ty, I'll
Put it
just
in.
search a person's name and then it'll pop up.
Yeah.
Okay, then just search a name.
Yeah.
Good idea. Yeah,
Get too many emails to.
county website.
Scroll through 'em all.
I think that one of the things was that, like, being able to do like shares on when we're on the screen here, wasn't that on there?
Yeah, she asked about putting like, when we get handouts, I'm just thinking like Elder Bridge handouts or something, how to get those where they can see them, and it would have to be a scan in some, I don't know.
Well, sometimes you can share, but I don't know
Imagine
how
how
to
far
access
back would
this.
be before email.
Yeah.
To count, to try to do it as running a business, that tends to get us in trouble. And I say that justly, but I mean, when you do it like where you're, you know, trying to control your largest expense, which is payroll, I mean, that one gets to be a little sticky wicket, because I can't tell you a business in America that isn't capitalism that's governing how you adjust your payroll. If you can't get people, what do? You look at, you know, first you evaluate if you're a company worth working for, you know, and then secondly, obviously you look at your payroll then. But, you know, we're compared to other counties through the ISAC's page. And then, and, you know, and I don't think they really know that in the public, that we're compared to that, but then the number of employees per department, other payroll things, you know, those types of things, I think that's not out there available for them to know that these are different things that we deal with. But then, like when we're buying motor graders and stuff, and I think that gets to be run a lot like a business in a sense. But you know, I mean, like when we got the last bulldozer, you know, we were evaluating costs, operations and everything, just like any business would. So, I mean, I think we do to some degree, but other things, we have government things that get in our way. I mean, look what we're talking about with 911 this morning. I mean, I assume businesses have to deal with unforeseen expense.
But you don't have your neighbor coming in and taking money out of your checking account. Right?
Well, not, not in the same
analogy.
fashion for dang sure, if
Well,
you're
that's basically
contributing.
what we're dealing with.
And,
Speaking of, talking about running a business, you see that in the packet about insurance, it said, do they want us to raise our insurance $11,000 a year for all that coverage? I thought,
They're raising your insurance
If we want
$11,000.
it's a-
Cause
We
we
could-
assessed the value. I thought they were just doing it.
we could opt to just leave it the same, can't we?
Is that what it said?
I suppose we'd call and say, just leave it the same as last year. 'Cause This insurance game is getting out of it. I've been, on my own personal stuff, I've been saying, just leave it the same, or I've even been taking stuff off, trying to keep my costs down, and
Yeah.
accepting more risk on my behalf.
insurance is,
Well, I mean, when you look at those valuations, they have them increasing in value. Machinery's increasing in value from 1 year to the
I don't
next when
get
it
that.
gets a year older.
I don't get that on my personal balance sheet.
Right.
Don't they normally depreciate?
They
Exactly.
usually depreciate.
they depreciate.
I mean, I don't know if your banker would allow that on your balance.
And,
sheet.
and
It'll
every,
make my balance sheet look a lot better.
Right, that's why the banker won't, it goes down in value.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
No,
I'd kind of
great.
like to,
This is
kind
on
of like to
subject.
talk about that after you get done with that, because
It says if you wish to continue securing replacement cost coverage, the scheduled value
replacement cost.
Oh,
of
that's
the
why it's
listed
going up.
units will be amended to match the newly appraised
I
values
think we need to make.
and the associated
Save money, we need to
contribution
drop
and
that.
Well, insurance is gonna
adjustments.
price themselves out of the game.
So if we so choose.
Please note a 2% inflation guard has been applied to all other entity-owned property excluding auto. This is accounted for in the anniversary supplement you will receive.
Yeah, everything depreciates.
Yes.
Equipment.
We got an insurance that's guaranteed if something burns up, we get a replacement cost.
Right,
So we're accepting little to no risk in paying for it.
right. Of course.
I just think it's some risk.
Yeah, I think
Because the money we're paying for that
Right.
is, we
How
can
many
probably,
have we
over
had
the years.
burn up and need
when-
replacement?
Since I've been here 23 years, I've known one machine that burned up, and if we probably didn't have that, we could have probably fixed it, because it was burnt, but it wasn't that bad.
What's the annual premium for that?
So it's going up
It's going up
11,000.
11,000.
So
I don't know what the annual one is.
And 11,000 is not a 2% increase, 11,000 just is showing the increased values that they have from the year before.
Mhm.
Say,
So you have to decide if you want to keep the replacement
That's
cost
what I.
coverage.
I'd like to find out some different numbers. What the actual
What we
cost
use,
of that,
what we, yeah,
and then what it,
should we put it on the agenda for next week? See if
Yeah.
we even want to continue it?
I'll email Kurt and see what he can
And then
put
have-
together and we'll get it on the
and then
agenda.
have a policy that just, not replacement cost, just a.
I'm gonna say, my curiosity, other than rolling over a dump truck up moving snow, I mean, you see things like that happen, so the possibility's there. But I mean-
Replacement cost, so you can still have some
complete
insurance
replacement
on it.
cost, I mean, if we're doing that for every piece of equipment, we're not gonna wreck every piece of equipment this year.
Simultaneously.
That's
so I
what,
think
that's what that policy's saying, we're gonna wreck everything at one time.
So, and if we did, well,
Well, I'd like to know
we
too,
probably should have more safety briefings.
if we had a massive tornado come through and wipe out
Yeah,
One shit.
a shed, would we still be covered?
Would
under,
that-
like, our
would that
farmers
be-
under umbrella, or would that be a different coverage than this?
And some of that's why we have reserves, right?
yeah, there you go, Kyle.
I think we're probably over insuring ourselves.
Oh, I think everybody does that a little bit. you know, that.
Well, insurance was relatively inexpensive, it was fine.
Yeah, but now it's not really,
No,
it's
yeah.
really probably one of your larger expenses anymore. But sure as heck is for trucking. Yeah.
So we get that policy, it's what,
It'll be in
IPAC,
Ju- ICAP,
ICAP?
yep, it'll be in June, so we have time to,
Okay, and so we pay that premium through a local broker dealer or insurance company, or we
off
pay
an
it?
agency, that's where Kurt Miller falls
Okay.
into play.
Okay, all right.
I looked at it and as we were going around, it hit me like,
She also brought up sharing positions, you know, we do that already, you know, I kind of brought that up in my response to her, you know, like Casey,
Kersey,
Kersey.
NIT 2080 there.
Yeah, we do that to some degree. You know, there's always talk about more, but if it's in your county, you still make sure you get taken care of. But if it isn't, you know, now, I mean, look at the frustration Gene had with a Gary on the Chad, who was he working on there? Somebody's out there.
septic's off the county.
I mean, so, you know, there's pluses and minuses to sharing. You know, that's the only thing I want to try to bring up there. It can be, you know, I mean, if we'd ever get to the point where we had to worry about engineers or IT or something again, you know.
Engineer was a tough one to share.
And that's just it, as Paul went into some good detail why he did, you know, Monona County asked if he could share, he said, I mean.
We were down that road with them years ago and it worked for a while, I think, but then they got kind of complacent about, well, this is cheap for us, why do we look, you know, and it's kind of overextended Paul and kind of.
And he was helping out short term. It's just, in some places it probably works, you know, like, you know, putting in septic tanks, you know, I mean, you got a fair amount of them goes in, but you know, getting the inspection part done.
And that's been fair. I think it's been pretty equitable.
I think that one's worked, you know, but then there's other things that, you know, they share that, I don't know if that works that good.
But there are things like we talked about this morning that, you know, if you could combine zoning and GIS together.
They're,
Great.
But that's still staying
But that's still
within the
within
county.
our, yes.
Yeah, but it's something that we, you know, have to have, we don't really always have. So, yeah, that's a good.
We do the sanitation thing with Carroll County.
Yeah, there you go.
Instead of having our own 2080 with them.
But you gotta be cautious on what you share to be able to provide the services to the taxpayers that they deserve.
Yeah, or
I think.
as efficiently spent dollars. Exactly.
Right.
I mean, that's what makes it, I think, kind of so different than a private business, you know, public entity, when you're providing the service to the public. You know, the public expects certain things. We expect the snow to be off the street. We expect, or, you know, certain things to be done. We expect to be able to go to the courthouse and do what we need to be done.
Yep.
I don't expect to go up there and have the door locked between 8 and 4 Monday through Friday. I expect it to be open,
Right.
so I can accomplish what I need to accomplish. But and that's what makes it different. Because I mean, if you had a private business, you could choose to, hey, Rossburg Trucking doesn't work on Wednesdays. You know, we're shut down. So if you want a truck, I'm not your person. But when you're a public entity, you can't say we're closed on Wednesdays. And they're like, well, Wednesday's the only day I got off on my schedule. That's when I need to get up there and get my stuff done. So you can't, it just makes it different.
Yeah, there is.
We still need to be efficient. There's
I
no
think
doubt
we-
about that.
I
I think
think we-
everyone,
We try to blend it well, though. I mean, there's a whole table of either business people or banking. I mean, you had your own thing, you know, I mean, you had to operate. So I think that we use that mindset that we have at our home business and bring it to the table here. It's actually harder to figure out how to deal with the government stuff that you have to blend in there than what it is to do the business side. Because how many times you think, well, we should be able to do that, but we can't. The auditor likes to remind us what we can't do that, you know. So I mean, there's different things that, but you know, I like the point.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
You know, because you look in some things that businesses, you know, it's just like alternative sources of revenue. That's a business mentality. You know, that's us looking for other ways other than just that one cash stream You know, let's not bleed it dry. Let's find other ways to make this place work. But you know, you also do it by creating savings. You know, it's like I was starting to bring up with the dozer. You know, we found a dozer, they come in here and talk 20 to 30% savings. And well, you know, those of us that buy fuel get all excited about something like that. And then finding out that we're actually probably comparing to the other dozer, we're actually more to 50% fuel savings. So that was a good business decision right there. I mean, we're saving a lot of money on fuel.
Well, we did that with the excavators too. We went with the Greydalls.
Yeah.
Greydalls were stupid expensive and
Yeah.
had no resale value.
And couldn't do anything. Well, and that's the other thing is looking at resale value. Why do we use Caterpillars? Because of anything out there. And I mean, John Deere's a great piece of equipment, but it don't compare to Cat on resale and construction stuff. You know, so, and then motor graders, I don't care whose motor grader you got, you know, that's something where, like with ICAP, you know, motor graders, they don't have good resale. So if we can only afford to buy a used one after something got burned up or blown over in a storm, I guess we just buy a used one to get by until it's in its cycle to replace it.
That once.
You see what I'm saying?
Remember we bought that one out
Mhm.
of, county that was up in South Dakota.
I remember that.
Sometimes you just have to do that.
Slightly used.
And that's thinking with a business mentality. I thought a lot about what she said there, and I thought, gosh, are we missing anything? You know, and we probably are.
We probably are.
But I mean, that's a good thing to strive for. I think as best we can. You know, watching your P&L. Every department needs to watch their P&L, and our obviously look at fitness. Reduce the board to 3. With all that we do that people don't realize, I mean, some counties do, but then they go, you know, if they got any.
I think
They
those
go
counties
full
are
time.
missing out.
Huh?
I think those counties might be missing out because,
Yeah.
I mean, with all the meetings that I go to, those counties with 3, and
They don't show
supervisors
up.
are never at a lot of them meetings.
They don't show up.
Or you see a county with 3 and it's more of a full-time gig that it doesn't say because they're just paying them that much more to fill in that time.
And then the you know, the other thing is if I'm having trouble figuring something out on an issue, I can call you. But if I call you now, if we're only 3, we've got a meeting. We got a quorum. I can't call you to discuss anything that would be moving towards making a decision. But you know, Kyle, like budget time, when that's my first calls across the street, you know, I mean.
We're all bouncing stuff off each other.
Yeah. I mean, that, you know, I might call Kyle for budget stuff, you know, I mean, you just got people that work on different things that are, you know, you watch them, hey, you know, Kyle gets his budget stuff, so I call him, because we're budget season, I'm thinking that way, mind you, but, you know, that's why, because he's got all the past experience on that. We ever done this, or we ever done that, you know, so, I mean, there's a lot of different things, I mean, I wouldn't be against it if public said they wanted it, I'd just say, okay, let's rock on, but you know what, you've heard a lot of counties that went to 3 or back to 5. I shouldn't say a lot, but you've heard of counties that went to a 3 and are back.
Shelby County, did they get that through to go back to 5? They're working on it.
I don't know if they have there yet or not.
Utilize tech, Tyler, and some of the things that you guys did where you redid all your files. I mean, we've been doing some tech utilization stuff. Stop tax abatements. That one there, that would have to take a deep dive because housing, I kind of get it out in the county, away from the cities. I kind of get it, but the business that we got to try to develop and bring in to create more taxpayers. You know, if they're going to be out in the county, if you want to bring industry in, if you don't have any kind of incentive programs, you just won't start packing up.
It's a fine line.
Start
because You can
boarding
see
up buildings.
counties overextend an abatement and it's a detriment. And you can see counties that don't have any, they don't bring in new homes or businesses either. So it's a,
That's why I said we'd have to do a deep dive into what we'd like to do there. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be talked about, but you'd have to do a deep dive.
If anything, the state should stop tax abatements on projects that are funded by tax dollars. They're subsidized by tax dollars, and then they get a tax abatement on top of it.
Yeah.
right.
Such as wind turbines and stuff of that nature, solar panels. Those are things that should not be tax
It's
abated.
double dipping.
That is double dipping.
And then she's got one that I've been thinking about a lot lately, adjust benefits. That might have to be something to consider. I don't know, but anyway, we ate up our.
Good talking points. Thank you.
You bet, figured it out. Thanks,
Ben?
Al, I appreciate you letting me in there.
Morning.
I didn't sit down, you see me going, didn't you?
Just gonna hand out here or do it.
I usually don't roll away very well.
They roll away pretty quick.
Got new floors, makes a difference.
What do you got packing for us today?
Oh, there's a couple things for you, nice. So there is that.
Yeah, that'd be working out fine.
Yeah.
You need one?
No.
Jeez.
No. To begin, like I said, we're in January here, we'll have our letting there for the HMA project here. Nothing's changed there, just keep it on the update there. Gray Crew, Bridge Crew, they're both shut down for the season. Bridge Crew, they are fabricating components. They did get our cedar that was involved in the incident kind of put back together and put it on the ground and see if it dovetails. But I think they got it patched up. I think as far as our equipment it goes in that incident, got back fairly unscathed. A couple rims, some tires, and a little bit of welding on the cedar. So we'll move on from that in that regard. So, but guys are out cutting trees yet this week. It's going to give us an opportunity maybe to pick around on some of the gravel roads where we may have some intersection issues, need to be addressed. But other than that, the gravel roads are staying down pretty good. We don't really want to, work things up if we don't have to. Get loose gravel out there. And next snow we get, have to blade it right off. So, God, if it doesn't need to be hit, we're not. We're just out there kind of touching what needs to be done. So
Isn't that disappointing, that 141 between Charter Oak and Denison, all
You see how much
the amount of rock they threw in the ditch?
I did see that. That's a lot of dang rock thrown out on Alexa. That
I wonder how many
really,
thousands of dollars they threw in the ditch.
I think it would have looked real good on a stockpile.
Wouldn't that
much
look nice?
anticipated.
In our stockpile in Charter Oak? My lord,
Yeah, that is a shame.
tons.
I mean, Jason sent me a picture, because he said, he sent a picture of like the gravels up by his way where there's some of the rock got shoved off. We have a little because it sticks to that dang wet snow. When you have wet snow, it's the worst.
Right.
Yeah. But so you're gonna have some. I mean, this is something I remember talking to Paul about the first year I was on the board. I was down in your neighborhood and there was one ditch down there that had all kinds of rock in it. But there could have been mitigating circumstances. I don't know what the motor grader, I mean, you guys got good operators down in Manila, so I don't think that was probably an intentional thing. But so I talked to him and he said, well, when you get wet snow, and which is probably what that was, a lot of that goes off quicker. So I mean, but what he was looking at, sent me a picture of, there was rock in the ditch, but compared to what you're talking about, I should have said, send a message back. Please go drive 141 and see what we're talking about as a difference here.
They bladed it tight where our guys carrying a blade is kind of different by the time you get to it and the traffic's got churned up and everything too.
Yeah.
There ain't nobody turning traffic up out off the
On the
shoulder of
shoulder.
the highway. And the blade is scraping the ground. Our guys try to mitigate it as
We
best they
try
can.
to be pretty conscious.
I don't know
of it,
if you
keep
can-
the blade up, try not to scrape
Even on our
it,
pavement,
touching gravel,
carry the blade.
blade up.
Loosen up an edge. The one thing that I was thinking about, Kyle, I don't know if you thought about it yet, we're not mowing season, but I thought, if I see a mower going down that ditch, I want to put him like a plague, I might turn off and dig a gravel to go around him.
Be a good idea.
Cause there would be rocks flying there. There's a lot of rock in that ditch.
I just think if they, every state highway throughout the state of Iowa, they do that annually. That's gotta be hundreds of thousands, if not $1 million. Then they gotta come back and replace that.
Yeah.
Every year. Labor.
And in this one here though, the way they did that through the construction process was a complete abomination.
It was a damn shame.
It was a damn shame. So I think a lot of that on 141 might have as much to do with that as anything. Anyway.
Sorry to
But yeah,
interrupt.
no, but to that fact, yes, I did notice all the flags. And then,
Give our guys credit.
I think we could have done a lot of good with it, but, you know, it is what it is at this point. Speaking of limestone, next thing, one of the sheets I gave you there, you know, this sheet, actually, you mentioned, a few weeks ago, for me, one kind of see kind of the comparison to limestone that we kind of used on these, you know, projects, you know, either roadway upgrades or fixes that we've done, utilities, kind of put that total to what we use for tons versus costs and what we've been kind of somewhat reimbursed for to some regard, which it's a little bit difficult to kind of put the reimbursement cost to it because, yeah, some of these projects, like took the first one, the ISU gradation optimization that we did on Deloitte Boulevard there. The materials are 100% reimbursed. The limestone materials that we use out of our stockpiles. Now we had our guys out there doing the work, you know, but the payoff there was we get a lot of good material out on that road and a good study to boot, you know, that we can kind of compare and see what's working best for, you know, what combination of granular surface.
When is their study complete, if you don't mind?
I think they want to stay for a year. I think they come out every quarter and do some tests on it, but after a year, I think it's it. I want to reach out to them before we really do any kind of altering of the roadway before we go to make sure that they do have what their information they want. But I think that's
interesting to see what they learn from it.
yeah, but they'll put out those their findings. So, but yeah, second one there, the DOT closure. That's not what we receive for reimbursement. Really isn't reflective of limestone. It's reflective of what they paid us to use E59 Buck Grove Highway as a detour. If you kind of put that towards what we spent on limestone costs, you know, for that fix on 210th Street, it somewhat pans out to put that cost towards it. So it's not true comparison material to material getting reimbursed, but end of the day, the cost of what we spent on additional limestone for these non-typical maintenance of projects / repairs, what we receive for reimbursements from these other entities, pretty darn close to what we used within about $5,000.
So do you think that we had noticed any extra damage on E59 then for the extra use? I mean, it's pretty well built now. That's a good road.
You know, it was used, the highway can take a little bit of extra traffic that was put to it. It's similar to what we use the DOT's highways for when we have a detour. They're designed to withstand that kind of traffic. Anytime you put more traffic on pavement, of course, it's gonna have a little more wear and whatnot, but I really don't think we got that much more traffic use on E59. I think if we could have taken all the traffic that went on 210th Street and put it on 59, but yeah, it would have been great. But I don't think the E59 is any worse for the wear. And they did go through and they did
it offset the gravel costs.
So you
needed to maintenance the road.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it could be looked at it that way. What would normally have been traffic that would have went on E59 went on 210th, and that's where that money we can help offset a little bit of that cost. But
Looks like at one time we're ahead of the state.
Yeah. Don't show them.
Ben, since we're in the budgeting
It's an
season,
open meeting, Dave.
how do you put this in your budget from a revenue standpoint? When you don't really know what the reimbursement rate will, so you don't put a zero in there for revenue, and then when this comes in, how does that work, I guess?
if it's anticipated, if we knew we had an ISU project or something of that nature where we know we're gonna get reimbursed, yes, I can put that into the revenues. If it's repairs due to utility installation, unforeseen, no, I guess I can't really account for that. I can't really put a number in there in anticipation that something will go wrong that we need limestone for. It's just simply, we budget X amount for our limestone, and when we have things like this go on, it just comes out of our stores. And you can see the total tonnage that we use this year. And we have some projects in Avenue that we want to upgrade. Next year, we want to, do a 230th Street where we did some grading. We're going to upgrade that. We know that that's going to be reimbursable by private landowners that want that road upgraded. So we take that into account, that in our revenues projected. But yeah, 5,500, almost 5,600 ton limestone usage. That's a good portion of what we budget for. I think we budget for about 1,200 ton, or 12,000 ton, approximately, to order in our budget year. So,
Do you think with all the gradation studies and kind of trying to find that perfect blend, are we on par for what we purchase for limestone versus aggregate from Halliday and Stratford, or do we need to cut back on that gravel and add more limestone, even though it's less tons, but you're mixing it?
I think sticking to the same program as I'd say we're on par. I'm not sure if I catch that question.
I didn't know if we need to reduce
Adjust.
amount of limestone versus how much other gravel we get from Stratford, or, to play with that. Staying within what we typically budget, but how much of what type of aggregate I'm saying.
I would say staying within what we typically budget. We typically budget approximately. Yeah, I better not say a number because I for the granular budget, I guess I just don't have that in front of me. But I want to say it's about 1.2 million.
It's just
for
over
the grant for just the gravel. And yeah, I was looking at a budget, and it is tight.
12,000 tons.
So
$10 a ton, that's 1.2.
And we do have good stores in our stockpiles that we can pass put that into the next fiscal year. Cut back on our gravel purchases versus.
As far as our stockpile, do we have a stockpile that we could go 1 year but not purchase anything? We have enough.
I don't think so. We deplete our stockpiles pretty quickly. Could we come back? A few thousand ton, yes. But I would never go a year where we didn't budget for about the approximate.
I was just curious how much we have stockpile. Was trying to stockpile a year.
And I guess that's kind of where I was going with it. If we're spending roughly 1.2 on gravel, if you thought that little ratio was not quite right where we needed to, let's say back that down to 800, but purchase another 600 of limestone to incorporate into roads. Just playing with
We
those.
kind of talked about that though, but like the last couple of years with the winters being kind of like what we're looking now, where you don't have a heavy duty, we have a frost now. So when you when you don't have that ugly spring with tons of soft spots out there, that gobbles up, it looks like we got more gravel than we need. And then that year shows up where you guys are out there all spring and the trucks start first thing in the morning, don't quit until it's time to go home.
I do think
Don't take long to burn through 10th Street.
it's helped a lot with Stratford adding 10, 20% limestone.
Yeah.
That's probably helped us as much as anything.
And that puts the blend right in it.
Our limestone down the pile, otherwise, other than that, really, there's a few roads that we put down that are trouble roads. And in the spring when things are, frost is coming out, that's what that's for, that 1 inch down there. Frost is coming out, you got muck spots trying to get them repaired, fixed in the early part of the year. And limestone goes pretty quick there, but back to the gravel, I think 1.3 is what 1.3 million is what we were budgeting last year for gravel. I did cut that back to 1.2. Last few years, even though we have had good years, we've ended up putting almost 100% of what we've had on ordered on the roads, and very little in stockpiles. This year, I think we did put some in the stockpiles, but generally speaking, it goes on the road from the quarry.
In the past too, Kyle, you brought this up before, where there's areas where sometimes it seems like we put gravel on real thick. that might not need it. And I know you guys are always looking and adjusting and doing what you can, but sometimes it just happens.
Is sometimes, I mean, we're not trying to get it, deep or anything, but it's kind of a judgment call by the guys when they're out there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, sometimes with the commercial haulers, everyone, it happens. And our employees, they seem to get it better. I mean, they just spread it. Commercial guys,
They don't do it every day.
they don't do it every day, and they're there to get the next load or
Anyway, we need
hour
it too.
out or whatever. It is what it is, but
Get it all the timely manner you gotta have.
you know,
Part of the give and take of having them do it.
yeah, and
I think guys that you probably get back, like Peterson's crews are there every year, aren't they, different groups are there. They probably get the same guys year in, year out. They probably are pretty helpful to have.
I think they pretty well got that, right, from the guys that show up from year to year
Muller,
yeah, no. Really, I guess I don't have too much problem with that. Because I'm not out there watching every truck per se, seeing who's dumping it good, who's not, but, and after the fact, of course, we run our blade through there, it'll smooth it off the best we can and try to place it where it needs, so.
then they got their all, don't they set their chains when they're done, but not so much as it's rolling ahead. Do it, so they probably all got kind of similar little, all right, have your chain set it, 10 lengths or whatever they have, I don't know how many lengths it takes, I'm not a gravel mower.
depends how thick you want it.
What's that?
Depends how thick you want it.
Well,
Depends if you're hauling limestone or gravel.
yeah,
Depends if it's froze or it's not. Chunks.
Can I just ask, I mean, I'm not saying that we have to make any drastic changes, it's just what's your opinion?
So if I didn't think
Well,
Where we're at?
doing that business
I would
thing,
think
ask us the
staying to
question.
the same program that we got going on, the limestone that we got using for fixes in the spring and our trouble roads, and pretty well staying with the same amount of gravel that we've been going with. It hasn't changed much, but in the years I've been here, we haven't adjusted that much. We always end up needing it, and if we do have a little bit extra, it goes in stockpiles where we take throughout the summer after the gravel haul. So I wouldn't change much in that respect, but
So, and Ben,
So we
just to
got
clarify, but in your budget, does gravel and limestone two separate line items? Okay, so gravel is 1.3, limestone would be about how much roughly?
We set aside
200.
Say if
It's more than
I
that.
200 and then 350,000 is what we budget. Secondary roads, and then, so total budget about 550,000 for the line.
For limestone. So we spent about $1.8 million. Yep, just of gravel and limestone.
And that doesn't
About
For the roads,
900,000
for the roads
for-
are
to get home.
Then get
That's
another,
not including freight.
then
Yep,
get
that's
another
all.
And
million.
then freight's almost half,
About
Half of the budget,
900,000
right?
was budget for free.
So we spent over $2 million.
Oh, yeah, pretty easy.
Easy.
and there's
By
no.
far,
a little basic. There you go.
Also
buddy.
part of our operations, of course, is getting gravel on the roads. So,
So I guess if you wanna,
That's about 10% of the total county budget.
just on granular maintenance.
Yeah.
So we wanna be frugal. We always were told that we have gravel in Crawford County, but it's buried so deep. Some point in time, it's gonna become effective to dig it up.
Where would that be? I didn't know that. Did.
River bottom.
Somewhere, I'd have to look at the map again, but it's got 30 to 40 foot overburden on it.
Just kind of
From what
look
I've
at,
been told.
where's like the divide for the Mississippi, Missouri divide. As you move
Arcade.
away from
Yeah,
that,
right
each
there.
way,
it's there.
it gets closer to the gravel underneath. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I mean, maybe in our, Dow City, between Dow City and Dunlap, it's probably a little closer to the surface, or between Dow City and Denison. But as you move further this way towards the divide, obviously the soil picks up more. So to me, that's the logical way to look at it. Because I've looked at where we dig across the state, and it's always further away from that divide.
But you're right.
Like what they call where we get our rock, that's the Gilmore Shelf, I think they call that. you know, that it actually goes, I think the rock even across the river was part of the Gilmore Shelf over there at Fort Calhoun and stuff.
I wanna say,
It's all part of that Gilmore Shelf. So we have Gilmore Shelf probably right under us, but it's deep.
Yeah, I thought it went all the way to Fort Calhoun and down to Kansas City.
that's,
Yeah.
well, mine always been my understanding, it's the same vein all the way from Fort Dodge, all the way to Kansas City. Yeah, but you're exactly right, it's getting to it, you know, it's accessible up there. It's accessible.
But they still have to go, you haven't had the tour, obviously. When you go down, you still go down a way.
Oh, it's under there.
It's under the ground a ways up.
Yeah, I've been
Fort
up.
Dodge. Did you get to
Tour up
Fort
there.
Dodge?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you're underground a ways. So I mean, it's, you can imagine it's just deeper here.
So as soil erosion becomes more and more, we'll eventually
We'll be able to
get
get down
there
there
over
where we
time on our own.
And to that effect, you can see what the cost of
Which
it
is great.
Got to go underground to get it, chip it away, chip it out the walls, bring it up, crush it, and put it on a train car up to Denison, and that's where the money's at. That's the cost.
Air transportation, logistics is always your challenge. I mean, that's why, you know, geopolitics is it, you know, or rivers and all that stuff, why America's been so successful because we've had efficient transportation systems. Well, this is just on a microcosm, this versus macro level. It's just what's happening in Western Iowa. You know. Still, logistics is your big expense.
That on the ground, granular certification of things, that's.
Once again, I guess it's something that we have to spend money on that some counties don't.
No, you think about Humboldt County, you go up there, my drivers will come back complaining about their chuck holes, because they're almost all white rock up there. So instead of having washboards, they have chuck holes that'll swallow a steer tire, you know, I mean, I'm exaggerating a little, but only a little at times. I mean, there's always something, you know, that's why the gradation blend is so important, really. I mean, our roads are probably better than theirs, unless it's real dry and we get washboard effect, you know. I mean, our roads are, in my opinion, are better than theirs. And white powder is everywhere up there. I mean, I don't think they have to put lime on their fields up there, because it blows up there off of their gravel.
You know, I just did some soils that way. Yeah, they kind of account for the first 100 feet into off the road. Not needing as much lime. It does show up. Yeah. So. I always kind of wondered about that when you see that lime cloud on the road. Why do we have to put it up there ourselves? I'm printing off a couple maps here. These are 2025 project map. This is what we did this last year. Projects. Just kind of give you a quick overview. The blue lines on there are grading projects where we some of them level B, some of them gravel roads that we did. But you'll see we did the red box there. That is the Vale Bridge. The smaller one, you know, the 3-span bridge that our guys constructed there. And then, of course, the orange box there is the contract bridge that we did.
We did that many culverts this year?
We did.
Wow, good job.
Typically, we do, you know, we've got the one bridge, but we made it a culvert year. And to that effect, we got Casey out there right now doing large culvert inspections. I think I mentioned last week. A lot of them showing up, and we got kind of diverted a little bit of attention to them too in some years. And this was the year for addressing some culvert issues. We had a lot of that material down the yard, just it kept getting passed up, you know, for bridges, but it's time to get some of them replaced, and otherwise they're going to rear their head at us. So yes, we did a lot of larger diameter culverts. Some of these are, you know, extensions of what's there, but yeah.
What's the snow borrow?
So is when we do a gravel road, just take the banks down, just to, where we have identified a snow trap.
Okay.
And
Those are the grading projects.
Yeah, yeah, that's part of a grading project.
Gotcha.
Geographical overlays and call it cuts. I learned that new term, which probably isn't a new term, but it was when I came here.
That's for you.
Yeah. And just to point out, these large diameter culverts, they do get costly. The larger the larger you get with the culvert, it just, the cost per foot increases exponentially. So we do have to be, very budget minded, how many culverts, large diameter culverts we try to tackle in a
What are
year.
they compared to a bridge though?
I meant to actually put the numbers for that before I. It's comparable. It's comparable. It's not a cost, a cheap option versus a bridge.
Do you think the culvert lasts longer than a bridge? Less maintenance over the years?
Comparable. I would say less maintenance maybe. But as far as longevity, I'd say probably about the same. Some of these larger diameter culverts that we're replacing, these large multi-plates that have failed or we're looking at replacing. Some were put in approximately 50, 60 years ago. That's about the lifespan of a bridge without really needing too much maintenance on it.
I would think that box culverts, and this is just my theory, when you do good erosion protection, where you ain't gotta worry about it getting underneath or on the side, that probably would be pretty, seems to me like they'd be a little bit better, as long as they can get all the water through in the high water situation.
A good box culvert, like some of these twin boxes that we put to replace a bridge, they really should be 100-year structures.
Yeah, that's what
it's but
at least half again as long as a bridge. I mean, because like the plank should last longer than what the bridge plank does. I mean, I'm not saying that you get a lot last the steel or anything, but it seems to me like some of the maintenance you gotta do on the bridge shouldn't have to do.
right, and then of course you don't have the width restrictions, the weight restrictions. It's eliminating bridge object system. It just you don't have the annual inspections. It's a good option for the right bridge. You get over that 10,000 acre drainage area, you're looking at bridges. So
Because all our hills, we probably got as many, if not a lot more bridges than a lot of counties, so being able to find more cost effective ways to replace them better.
That's 2025, 2026. Look, we're kind of back on bridges. But we got, again, the blue lines are grading projects. We look to have a full slate of grading again this year. Different projects we're still adding to the list there. I want to point out this is a bit of a tentative schedule. I know until other stuff always seems to come about. So, and we always try to have more on this map that we know we can get done this construction season. But we try to make sure that, we're not getting to September and we're out of work. So
when you have a bridge project, is that a bridge replacement or is that just be doing some repair or what is?
Well, the one up
project
on the county line there, up on A Avenue there, that's a rehab.
Okay.
For the time being, we're looking at just driving some H-mile in that and rehabbing it to be to fix it up a little bit. A lot of these other ones, they're full replacements. This one over in Hanover, it's a full replacement of a 3-span bridge. And it's a pretty good sized bridge. Please. Well, it was between doing that one or one down by Amano, we elected to do that one.
There's our girl gets it first.
So now you're out there.
You do have one down by me though.
Yeah.
That one.
I think they call it Cattle Bridge down there. That's one that we're looking at. Where is that? That on 340th Street? Yeah.
You really, until I had this job, I never realized how many darn bridges we do. We got a lot of
Right around that 250. A few less at this point, but with the replacement being done. But yes, quite a few bridges on the slate for 2026. Got a lot of good grading projects that I'm looking at. Still working on some of them for signups, but pretty confident these are the direction we're going. Hunger Canyons, the fair, the Vale Weir project there. Got some permitting to get through on that yet, but we're hoping that to be a project for this year. Yeah, and then of course, L51, our contract project that represented there. That's what 2026 is shaping up to look like. Again, tentative, but
A lot of good
through
projects.
all the direction we're in.
And that's part of understanding.
It would be 100 Canyons. Not sure if it's on the map. Not sure if that'll be one that we get to this year or not. I know we've talked to them. We were agreeable, but it's by the time we get, what we have for bridges and culverts on here, that's kind of about the lower part of the list there. But I'd like to see it done. Yeah. That's a heck of a redeem.
Some of the years we get where we don't have a lot of rain, that interferes with work anyway. Get a lot done. Always be ready for rain. Project numbers go down, I'm sure.
Like I said, we try to put more on here than we know we can get done, but there have been years we've gotten every project on the map that we set out to do done.
So we're looking at doing a culvert right there, just north of the city limits of Denison on the Deloitte Boulevard.
There is one there, right before you get out of city limits there.
Okay, yeah.
So if we would ever look at redoing that road, it should be good to have that done before.
That's it. That's why it's on the list there.
They were out there like this week. We pay somebody out there,
Bridge
some measuring, surveyed on it, yeah.
So we can get a bit on that call.
It's right there where it turns to gravel.
Right. Yeah, it's got a few issues to it. If we're looking at doing some improvements on the roadway, now's the time to fix that hole. So, yeah, always gotta be looking ahead. Same with L51, we got some ends of the culvert ends that we need to address, or got some culverts that we, might have some issues with the liner in them. Now's the time to do it, people with either before or during that project. So making sure that isn't going to cause issues with our new pavement. So yeah, like I said, tentative, but that's the direction.
And how far out do you go? Do you have projects already planned for 27 or 28?
Some of these I'm sure
Right,
will carry over, but
Right. But you do have something that you're already looking at.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Nice.
The Donner Ridge is probably part of that. Ready?
yes, we're tentatively planning on 20% of Donner Reed Road Bridge. Hopefully railroad stays cooperative in that respect. We just got to kind of finalize the need lines for easements needs. I believe we have a land acquisition company kind of working with us to do the acquisitions of the additional easement property that the city of Denison will need for the project from the adjacent landowners. I got the plats done. My office right now. I got to review them, make sure that they're correct, look good before we give them to the land acquisition company. They're gonna do that for us. But yes, a lot of boxes need to be checked before that's goes for a letting. And but Lowell Miller with John Burns, he is actively working on it. He's been submitting some 30% revised 30% plans to UP Railroad for them to review. He has been working towards a 70% completion plan. So he's working on it. And the revised 30% plans takes into account some of the variances that they requested that we do to be able to move forward with the design that we had submitted to them, different bank slopes, some pier protections, and things of that nature. But yeah, at least they're not requiring us to span the entirety of the right of way. I really didn't know what direction for a structure we were looking at if that would have been the case, to be quite honest. So really glad that the railroad has agreed to cooperate in that regard.
And then you got the closing on the Charter Road property?
Closing on Charter Road property, that it will be tomorrow. I forgot the time, 10:30 was it? I may have, said
I don't
yesterday,
remember
but
the time either. I
I'll
saw,
shoot you a text,
Okay.
for sure, but.
I saw that I have an appointment in my office at 10. I thought it was at 9, but maybe I'm mistaken.
It sounds right, yeah.
Well, right, I got an appointment with a client in my office at 10 o'clock. I thought that the thing was at 9, that the closing was at 9 at the attorney's office, but maybe
I'll take a look as soon as I get downstairs. I'll shoot you a text.
Let me know.
I think.
I can
if
make
it's
it.
at 10, I won't be able to make it.
If you
If it's
can't,
at 10, I won't be able to make it.
Okay, okay.
let me know if you can.
Okay,
I can do a morning, I can't do an afternoon.
thought it'd be nice to have someone from the supervisor's office there to close.
I believe
Somebody
so.
else.
My understanding is it'll be 5 minutes.
Right.
We have the check.
I don't think there's anything
for-
signed, we just have to check.
But yeah.
Okay.
Close on the property tomorrow.
Nice.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, sir.
Stan. Oh, the courthouse parking, hey, Ben,
Man, you gonna be busy for the next couple minutes?
Yeah, well, we want to go over
Parking
that.
lot.
I guess because the discuss take action approval of the purchase and check by Crawford County of a parcel of ground from First Pitch LLC. That's what, is there anything that we need to do today? I mean,
No idea, did Colin put that on there or Martha?
Martha did, yes. So I guess, I don't have anything to
Nothing.
be signed by the board, I guess. I assume that she had that on her end.
I mean, we reached we did a purchase agreement with First Pitch LLC and agreed on a price. So I guess I don't know what.
should I go grab Martha?
Grab Martha, ask her.
I can see if the,
I don't know.
make
But she has a document or needs something signed,
Right, okay.
I don't know, she didn't give anything to us, so
the only thing I was with the,
check's already written.
It is.
information that,
Yeah.
you know, about the zoning administrator. Trying to figure out how this is all gonna play out if that office has nothing to do with it. We gotta move forward, trying to find a fit for that. And I've been asking our past zoning administrator what his thoughts were on that.
Okay.
And his thoughts that secondary roads has probably the drafting equipment, stuff to be kind of the GIS part of it. And he'd be willing to help train GIS and zoning people to help fill this need. Trying to figure out something here. Looking for a zoning administrator and a GIS coordinator.
How much month will be that?
We're looking for a
No,
GIS
That's what they set me back with.
That has
Oh,
nothing to do with it.
GIS, but,
I don't know if that's gonna sweeten the deal. if they even got some
different
money.
animal. And, I mean, I think that's what I.
Martha's in trial right now.
This
guy's not gonna make it.
Being a GIS
We just need to do it.
technician.
Take action on that?
He's like, we better maybe put it on next week's agenda. Is what she said.
I mean, it kind of
Okay.
So
goes.
there's nothing we need to do prior to us getting the property to bond.
Martha wanted to be here.
I don't know how much this
Yeah, got out of
GIS
trial.
stuff, what that all consists of.
Because it's
I know zoning
closing
probably
is
pretty
tomorrow. The closing of the
limited.
property is tomorrow, so. Okay,
It's,
Well, I guess it depends how much building is going on, I suppose.
I hate
Well,
to
currently,
take action.
how-
right, we don't know
on
what
the
we're doing.
GIS that we currently use, who does do or traditionally in the past has been doing the changes on the website for.
For GIS? The assessor's office used to do it. I don't know the last time, I don't know when the last time was that it was actually updated. I think when Seth was assessor, I think some of it happened then too.
Nothing for over a year.
I don't know when the last time was.
Be nice to know from, I guess, Dwayne's perspective, how much time,
I've had enough of those over the holidays.
you know what I mean?
That's what they are.
Is it something that could be implemented through, you know, what Brent, that crew does?
Well, like Ben was just, he's concerned about the time constraints that this would put on his people. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we all are. I
yeah,
mean,
and that's a fair
Right.
statement.
No,
yeah.
it is.
Right,
It
it
is a
doesn't
fair
matter,
statement,
there's
gonna be
because that's
stuff I
one of
don't
my
know.
concerns,
I mean-
some discussions I've had about it.
Is this a 20-minute a week job or is it a 20-hour a week job?
It's always kind of been my impression that there's people who have a career just in GIS, you know, which are, using wrong verbiage, I'm sure, but, almost like its own position in itself, or
Only some counties have it
but,
separate.
It can be, but, I mean, we only have about 22 parcels.
For us, I mean, it
22,000.
makes sense.
Sorry, 000.
Bad
22,000
position. Underneath another office, and not have it stand alone. And combine it with zoning and GIS
I mean,
together.
this is something, just ask Dwayne with his past experience, if this is a 20-minute a week or a 20-hour a week job.
Right.
That'll make a big difference.
I'd have to talk to him and see how much, if you're talking,
I always ask the
just
same thing,
keeping up the GIS
Yeah.
maps, or if we send that off to a third party person that does that for us,
But we'd still have to
Good,
have,
we'll get a,
Currently, there's a company that does it, but you have to. Sorry, I know, Ethan in the engine, or in the assessor's office. That's a process. Sorry. Exactly, there's your opportunity.
Wrong way.
Anyways, yeah, so I don't know the whole process, so.
Or is this something can we hire GIS and probably cost us through the nose?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that.
so
Wish I
like,
did.
every, like say, property purchase or anytime easement changes, you know, that all needs to be updated on the GIS. I don't know how many recorded documents of property, you know,
GIS zoning.
surveys,
What's
a
Carol
person's
for
talking about
GIS?
on a day-to-day basis,
Oh.
or if that's all it entails, but yeah, I can see that being a very time-consuming proposition, but, I mean, I can certainly talk to Dwayne, to what it has entailed in the past, just keeping it up on the website, I don't know if that's all a person's looking for, or if, there's more to it than that, but,
Can
I guess I'm not
I
familiar.
just have him reach out to you and
Yeah.
discuss it, to see what it entitles? I mean, we've been kicking this can down the road for,
Long time.
Yeah,
I mean, we do have the survey equipment, with not that truly ties in with how things are done on the computer.
Right.
It's probably a whole different animal. in that
Right.
respect,
Yeah, I
so.
I don't know what it all consists of. I mean, Dwayne, obviously did it, and you don't have the survey equipment, so I
right,
mean.
exactly.
Yeah, it all,
What's it?
Some of it
come
is
from?
merely a file from Tyler that goes to Vanguard to update GIS. So if you're not interested, let me know, because I'd be curious to talk to Dwayne, so.
Okay, and I'm not trying to step on anybody. If you're something that you're interested in too, I'm just trying to.
No, you're fine.
Would
That's fine.
GIS and zoning be something we can combine though?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably.
I mean, even if you called it a part-time job, put it underneath.
We kind of need to know sooner than later, because if we have to hire
Where
somebody
there's
within an
people
office
around
to
that
help
can say, well,
with
that
that.
person won't be
you know,
able
His
to.
reply back is his best guess is an hour or so each day, depending on building permits.
I mean, visit zoning and GIS.
Depending on how much you want to
They
get
don't have to be
into
at
map
that will.
making. You
All
could draw maps all day long. Well, get the GIS part of it. Just have to reach
And we
out.
don't need to draw maps, we just need to be able to
Anyway.
expedite
Combine two
parcel
things
transfer.
that they need.
Who's got the office space? I mean, is there an extra desk or something in the assessor's office?
Not if,
or-
no.
No.
Cindy used to do it, I think.
I think there's,
GIS anyway. I don't know how much how the zoning worked down there. Let's ask. Currently, I think Tracy's the only,
I think so.
not
I'll have them
administrator.
reach out to you.
So let me know if something I
Yeah.
can help with, I
Absolutely.
guess I'm not familiar enough with it to.
Because I think Ty brought up planning, maybe we could make it it could be a part-time position, or at least if you could find someone to.
if we put it under, like,
In the afternoons.
so don't think I'm pointing you guys out, but like where Brent and Casey are, which is kind of have to do with surveying and all that kind of stuff, that kind of in the same wheelhouse. If you had a part-time person that you put in there, and they worked every afternoon per se. And then if they needed some appointments, and, you know, they could call the engineer's office and say, hey, I need to be able to talk to the zoning officer. Well, they're in from 1 to 4 or 1 to 5, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so that they could schedule an appointment for them. But you see what I'm getting at?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got it as a part-time person instead of a full-time 40-hour-a-week person. Just a thought. I'm spitballing here is all I'm doing. But you put zoning and GIS under that person. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And then the other time, if somebody needs a building permit, they could grab one out of your office or whatever, just have some building permits there. They need a building permit, here they are.
Yeah, bring it back to the,
If you need something other than that, our zoning person's in from 1 to 4.
Scott Johnson said the planning and zoning is $7,500 a year and the GIS is $5,000. You know, I'm a full-time guy.
that's what
Oh,
we're
okay.
paying.
That's what Carroll County.
Carroll
pays.
County.
I asked if
They don't have one.
They just, kind of like what we do, they just,
Pay the assessor the extra.
I asked them if it's under the assessor.
So in the afternoon, 2 or 3 days.
We'll see what, I'll go in and talk to him.
It's not for a part-time, but yes.
and see what happens. We'll get going down that road first, I guess.
I asked them,
Well, maybe
oh, no.
he reached out to you, and have Terry come sit in too. I don't
Staff.
if that works, that way both hear the same conversation at the same
Right.
time.
That'd be fine with me.
No, I can't say I haven't been interested in it, how it goes through, because we utilize it a lot. I utilize it on a daily
Yeah, we
basis.
do too.
so.
Maybe both departments can make it work. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Nope, I get it. You're fine.
But we have to, we
Does
should be doing
GIS have
something
stuff to do
now,
with Mary, too?
budget for it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
see,
And apparently there's a report that the Census Bureau needs that's over here too, so. I mean, we have to pay Dwayne to get it done. I don't know.
Carol's under the assessor.
I don't know.
Either.
Carol has it under the
He'll
assessor.
be
Their office.
He said he'll reach out to you.
Okay.
All right?
Martha, I didn't know.
We're doing that next week.
Martha was in court, so we'll have to hold off till next week on it.
Okay, I'll move on to the, since Ben's still here, the parking lot proposal.
That was in our packet.
That wasn't our packet.
Thanks,
10
question.
point.
Yeah.
How do we close on that and sign a check tomorrow if we didn't approve it if we're supposed to?
They are kind of tight here today.
That's what
Hate
I
to
asked.
approve 10 point and then
I mean, if he's doing the closing tomorrow.
That's why I didn't know why it was even on the agenda. I guess I don't know what we
I
need
know
to
I
do.
did.
We've approved the
We've already
purchase.
approved it.
Right, we've approved the purchase.
The parking
Closes
lot,
tomorrow.
The check has
He's
been
got
cut.
the check.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the
He's already
check
got
in
the
hand.
check.
I guess that's where I was.
And it's been corrected to the right vendor, so.
All the stuff that, so it meets all the auditors,
it's too bad she got court.
blocks,
I know.
all
Now we
your, all
can't.
your boxes, been checked on that.
Right. I get it.
Jerry, everything that the auditor's office needs to do for the purchase of the land has been done.
So I don't think we really need.
So I'd say don't take any action on that either
Right.
until, good point,
I just wanted to make sure we weren't gonna get her paperwork screwed up.
get the cart ahead of the horse.
Yeah. Having a check signed that hasn't been approved by the
I'm
board.
sure they don't need it at the closing.
That was my question.
Yeah.
So the parking lot repair,
I'd say hold on till next week, but
okay,
parking lot.
Oh,
is there anything,
or Parker, I guess that's not that.
I mean,
How
that
do
was,
we have that? Sorry, I'm
no, you're fine.
getting my cart ahead of the
That's
horse.
okay.
So that was on the agenda to just go over?
I have no
or-
idea. Did you all want it on the agenda?
I think we did,
That's what I
because I
understand.
had something pop up on my phone this morning that says parking lot. I think we
didn't
had
put
it
it
put
on
on
there,
here back in August so that we didn't forget about it, so we could work it into a budget. I think that's why,
Oh, you just want it on the budget.
I think that's the reason why.
Nothing to approve then.
I don't think it was anything that we needed to take action on. I
Gotcha.
think it was just something that we wanted to remind that we didn't forget about it.
Got it.
Because I think there's some stipulations that the city wants some sidewalks fixed one way or another, so we're gonna have to do something with the parking.
Right.
So,
So we just need to file that away to budget.
I'll put it in my budget
Okay.
folder.
Okay,
Okay, there you go.
just take care.
so it is.
I thought there was someone gonna take action until I seen my phone popped up a reminder.
You wanna read some
It's a
of
good
it,
thing you put it on your phone.
some of the,
Yeah,
Okay.
So the zoning administrator, we're gonna put that off until
They can talk.
Dwayne
to
gets a
you.
chance to talk to
Yeah.
Terry and or Ben.
like we can go like this.
Okay. An appointment of the zoning commission, I guess is that, did we find anybody in the last 3 days? Do you want to do that?
So I didn't,
And I certainly didn't talk to anyone since Friday. It was on Friday.
I talked to Bob Kroll, that was just because that happenstance
Well,
meeting.
let's discuss it here a little bit. I mean, kind of out of,
is that who it's replacing?
yeah,
I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's the stipulation that happens.
Adjustment board and. So,
Resident of Crawford
Just
County,
do that,
right?
doesn't have to be a.
I don't know that there's any other stipulations. I can't recall.
So what is that, this zoning commission person, do they have to have a background in anything? Do they,
I don't believe so, no.
do they ever, does the commission ever meet?
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah.
They meet, I would say once or twice annually, I'm guessing. I know, just in my past history, they've met a couple times and made recommendations on zoning changes within the county.
Absolutely, yeah.
When GCC Concrete was looking to move to town,
Yeah.
they came to.
Well, that was when they were gonna be out there before
I think
anyway.
we'll
zoning
do it. Thank you
change.
so much, Ben.
Tim, you wanna be on zoning?
Thanks, guys.
Here, look. Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you.
So is there a date or a time frame that we have to get someone on there, or is it, can the commission meet with just one less member, or is there a requirement by state, you know, to have so many members on the zoning
Kind
commission?
of falls under the assessor's wheelhouse. It's his board.
Well, it's the zoning administrator's board, actually.
Also, it's our board. So it's whoever's board then.
Right,
Yeah, I guess I just always assumed it was the assessor's board because I was always under this.
I think that Dwayne must have had trouble saying no once upon a time. He got thrown a lot of crap.
Well, yeah.
Would Dwayne want to serve on the zoning commission?
See my point?
Exactly. You just said he can't say no. Perfect person to ask.
I should ask him that question.
Well,
And we can come back to that. We gotta come back to his administrator anyway, so.
He'd be good at it. Past history of it.
Maybe in his retirement, later years,
I will certainly reach out.
you'll reach out to him,
Yeah.
see if he'd
He'd
be
be a
interested.
great ass.
Or he'd be a great asset to ask, who do you think would be a good
Yeah.
person to
I
serve?
think he'd probably be good. Yeah, for either department.
I will reach out.
Settles that
I mean, he's already
kind of.
given us probably the most leads we've had for a zoning administrator already, so, I mean. He's got some conversation started with,
Yeah,
Okay.
okay,
super good.
We want a citizens input. Got nobody here in person. In Zoom, does anybody have anything they'd like to add or any questions?
I might, if no one else does.
Anybody want to be a zoning
Okay.
administrator?
Anybody want to be a zoning commissioner? You're on the zoning commission board. Okay, Terry?
Awesome. You all got an email, I think, from Amy about the wellness screening.
Yep.
Coming up in the next couple months. So I think it included the price sheet. And
Right.
just for review, the last 2 years, we've had about 70 people participate in the screening. In 24, it amounted to $4,925. And then this last year, it was $5,680, just for your information. Currently, the fund, the wellness program has $6,100 in it, so we are funded perfectly to be able to handle that, I believe. Our spending authority is at $10,000. We have spending authority, so we're fine that way. Just to make sure that you all are
So that's a
wanting our
$10,000
county
line
to
item.
participate.
Right, or-
It's a get.
Is that a $10,000 line item in our budget that we put
Yeah,
funds
actually, we
towards
funded,
wellness?
yeah, we funded it by $12,000 and we've already spent $1,500 on flu vaccinations.
I do think it's a good program.
It is, yeah, it just helps to assist, the insurance that the county supports for our employees and,
Keep it healthy employees.
yeah, exactly. And
Ounce
hopefully
prevention.
helping to keep the costs of our insurance
Show up to
down.
work when they aren't sick, right?
I don't know if there's any, no way to know with HIPAA and everything, but I wonder if it's ever caught anything when it's small and we've been able to treat it
Oh,
before it's got
it wouldn't
big.
surprise
That's the goal
Or
of
a heart
these things.
issue or
Yeah.
something.
And that's
It
the
really
goal.
wouldn't surprise me.
I imagine it probably has.
I bet it has. I mean, if that, but you're right, you wouldn't know, but. If you didn't say somebody's name, you should be able to find out, shouldn't we?
That's for you, sir.
I don't know. That, even with that,
I don't know.
savvy people might be able to
Figure it out.
together.
If they're that determined, they'll probably find out anyway.
What is all this?
Evaluation stuff.
This is great.
Just some ground, some beginning stuff to going for you. So the small sheets show the rollback worksheet over the last couple of years. You can see how our rollbacks have changed, how values have changed. Yeah. Ag land used to be, the rollback used to be just over 73%. Now it's 59%. That's huge, huge. The long sheet probably gives the biggest comparison for general basic. There is a decrease in what a decrease of valuation countywide. So a decrease of what could be funded, what our 350 will get us. Not huge, it's $26,000. I mean, it's not like catastrophic, but it is a decrease. Same with rural basic. That the value has decreased, causing the 395 that we can levy rural basic, a decrease of $70,000. I your belt, just a scant, one loop, one hole.
Oh, I see.
But you're right.
And
So
some of that's that rollback stuff, the change in the rollback.
This is still, I got a seven.
With that decrease in valuation, we should still be allowed to levy the 350 and the 395.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to plug those numbers in yet, but the House File 718 accounts for increases like over 2.5%. So we are definitely not in the increase lane. So.
And that's another thing, you know, that it's a kind of a, we never ever talk about that mandate that you have to use 350 and 395 to get to the rural supplemental and general supplemental.
Yeah.
Really ties your hands.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
it forces you to tax.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
a sense.
Right.
And you really need that considering that like things like EMA come out of Gen Sup and your insurances and all that. You know, so that's just.
Yeah, and maybe we can play with the supplementals and play with reducing those levies and transferring from the basics to the supplementals in both general and rural. We'll have to play around with that a little bit, so maybe we would be able to reduce levies, at least supplemental levies.
Yeah. Guys, you know, really, if you think about it, get supplemental, there's no way we can fit it in the general or the rural.
No.
So, I mean, you're forced to go to max on them to pay for things that are, you can only do over, or you only do over, but you do over, you're allowed to do over.
What?
This is the first year since 2012 that we're decreasing, did not have an increase.
Evaluations.
Is that how you read?
I don't know why those are like that
Yeah.
for 2012. I don't know why I don't know.
So I just.
We haven't
with all this-
decreased in a long time.
With all this
sure of that.
historic data, I mean, it's good to see
Yeah.
that because, I mean, some years we had, you know, basically 500,000 in new dollars, you know, this year we're $100,000 less than we had a year.
Yep. But we almost always have carryover funds at the end of the fiscal year. We almost, you know what I mean?
I mean, this just
So,
gives us a good
yeah,
place to say, ooh.
yeah,
These years, 2012 or whatever, 500,000 extra dollars to spend this year,
right.
you know, it's
It's
like,
only, what's
what's
necessary.
here's what's here.
What's needed and not wanted.
Where are
Correct.
we at in our general fund?
You know,
I
this is one
don't
of
know
the
that.
interesting
That
things
you
where
know.
operating
I
like a
don't know the
business
answer. I
is
hate to
different.
say a number.
I mean, that's something Chuck
Right.
always had.
I mean, we still
watch
want
too.
to spend
Yeah.
as little as possible.
You don't want it
At
to be
this
overtaxed,
point,
not
we
usually,
Right.
it has to be within its, and maybe it's a year we have to pull.
Watch our dollars, I mean, trying to find the better word. Manage our dollars right now,
Spend it down,
as best we can.
But yeah,
If we don't have to
it
have
might
it,
be
don't
the year
spend it.
to, if we absolutely, it's things we
You know, like
need.
Cindy put in there about that zero,
Or, need.
zero base. on
But
your
anyway, I
spending.
just wanted to give you a couple basic things.
Do you have the information to go back to 2008?
Yeah, it's
I
on
don't
another
see just 'cause
report.
valuation
I would just like to
we
see
get
what
more
that
money.
Yeah,
To me,
looked like.
valuation's
There was
going up. My first
ag
instinct is,
rollback
oh, there's
started,
reason
but
for us
that-
to lower the level.
oh, okay, yeah,
I swear, those guys back then said
That's
that was
my
like a
first
400,000 or
thought.
500,000.
Some counties like, oh, we
Right.
get more
In
money.
1 year.
Oh, really?
No.
I'll look at it and get it, I'll email it out to you
Just my
guys.
history, I know I was working for secondary roads at that time and it was,
It's in the way is inflation.
we went from, I think, 37 employees to 32 employees.
Do you think that shows a sign of
Through retirement,
inflationary
we're getting
reductions?
replaced.
That
They're below that now.
by evaluation.
Yeah, I think
Well, I don't know, I was talking to Paul about it, maybe he could come up next week and
So-
speak to that.
I'd like to see what
Why
2008
There's an appreciation.
Why
there,
the
too.
supervisors seen
assessed value
$500,000
would have
decrease instead of
reduced.
100,000.
So, yeah,
You know, because after having Vanguard in here, I was really.
We can get
waiting for
through
a
this.
raise.
right,
Or
well,
you-
they'll be year 4 residential in the next
Everybody.
couple of years,
Not
so.
just us five,
So,
really.
yeah, that'll be coming, so I'm kind of curious how that will affect.
Our general fund, I don't know,
So Terry,
Yeah, I can
on the,
email you that.
on this long page that you gave us,
50%
in the box, the colored box, what is
Yeah.
that? What
So
is
that represented the house, the beginning of the first year of House File
Right.
718. And our valuation growth was 3%, I think it was that year, or more than 2.5%. So then we had to levy at the lower rate. So instead of like at the general basic side, the left side, instead of levying $3.50, we levied $3.39,806. And then same for rural basic, the growth
that was the
was more
first,
than allowable, so it required us to take a 3%. I think it was a 3% reduction. I'd have to look back
and
now.
that was the first year of House File 718, when that was in place, and that would have been for last year's fiscal,
Yeah,
or this,
not the year we're in.
right. Our current year we're in, we're levying at 395 and 350.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Valuations went down 7 million, 17 million.
Yeah, isn't that
It don't look like it when you go to the land auction, does it?
no.
Absolutely.
But some of that ag is because of that rollback. The rollback went from
73
how they
to
come up with
59.
taxable value. What the state gives us, the state gets to tell us what the rollback is.
Yeah.
So it was 59%. Yeah, you're surprised, right? I know, and 73% is what it currently is.
So
So
that
that's a
really-
huge difference. That's
I mean,
almost
the-
25%.
The bulk counties and that, they're mostly all urban, don't affect them hardly at all.
Yeah,
So all the rural counties, it's just really,
I'm
it's
sure-
another nail in the coffin.
I'm sure
so to
that
speak.
change in rollback was part of House File
It's hard to
718.
develop
I
everybody.
recall, but it was pretty in depth, so,
Good to see these numbers, so.
yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Those are, which we
Just
know we're up
basic
against.
things, so, yep, I'll send you, fund balances.
Anything else to come before the board? Motion for adjournment.
I'd make that motion to adjourn.
Motion by Ty,
Second.
second by Kyle. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes
If you
aye.
even get in on